And that was clicked. Welcome to Couch on Fire podcast. I'm Alex. That's Rob. What's up?
I'm a Leo.
Do you come here often? What am I? What?
I don't know, dude. So, man, I
What's
have,
your sign? Fuck off, Rob.
dude. So,
Welcome
real
back,
quick,
by the way.
I know. Thank you. I know it's been a while. Me and Alex have not got a chance to sit down, and it's my fault, hands down. It's all my
Not
fault.
just.
I was moving, and I blame myself. God, I brush my teeth like twice a day, and they still just don't look as white as like the commercials. Why? Why?
Get those white strips. Those people
Nah.
bleach their assholes,
Oh my
so
gosh.
they're bleaching their teeth. Be sure of that.
Well, you know what? They might not be like pearly white, but they're healthy.
And
So,
that's what counts, right?
if you hear a weird noise, I have like this foot massager
Under your
underneath my
what, Rob?
desk,
Okay.
under my desk,
Where under your desk, Rob?
uh, where Monica Lewinsky went. No, no, two
Oof.
millennials. No,
She
got
was
him.
a victim.
Yeah.
She was a victim.
Anyway,
Oof. Big
yes,
oof.
I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to hear things. I'm glad to hear your voice. So,
Yeah, what's going
what's
on, man?
new? No, what's going on with you? I mean, we
Uh,
I know we've talked, and you have some exciting news, and I just think it'd be great because it's kind of in line with what happened with me. So,
yeah. Okay. So I'll take the spear on
trying to
that
do a
one.
drum, trying to do a drum roll.
Alex is gonna buy a house.
Yes.
We're
Now,
currently shopping right now for a spot for us, which is dope. It's exciting. It's fun, and it's one of the worst and most bureaucratic processes I've ever heard of.
so first things first. This your first home?
Yes.
Okay.
Going with the VA
And
loan. Putting my life on the
hey,
line doesn't mean nothing.
there's perks out there.
They are few and far between because the health care during and after discharge is non-existent.
Oh my
It's like
gosh. Okay.
the GI Bill and the vet home loan. That's it.
Oh. Well, with the VA loan, what do you get that's more special than like what I would have got, what I got for this house kind of loan?
We can go zero down and still get
Okay.
locked in at a sub 5 interest rate.
Uh
It
huh.
cannot be adjustable rate. It is a fixed rate mortgage for all 30 years. Uh, there's a couple extra protections and like points that we can walk out of the sale. And there's a heavier duty VA. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
It's not me.
Yeah, that's me. Don't worry about it.
Uh, there's also an additional inspection that's got to get performed past the appraisal. That's and if it doesn't match the appraisal value, there's a problem, and that takes some hoop jumping, which sucks, but it is what it is. It's to protect the consumer, the ostensible veteran. So I
Hmm.
mean,
Yeah, I
whatever.
mean, it's not too much difference. I think the biggest thing that really helps you out that I kind of the zero down really, and then obviously the fixed.
Yeah,
Um,
guaranteed fixed rate sub 5.
yeah. So I have a fixed rate, but it's not technically guaranteed. So basically, it's fixed for X amount of years, but then after that, it could shift for like $20 or $30 roughly, which would come
Ooh.
out to like, yeah, which happened to me. So this obviously I just moved, and this is my second home. The first home in Charlotte, I never knew anything about it, and I had to learn the hard way because
What an
I think
armis.
with the second year, my mortgage went up, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But then, yeah. So,
They adjusted your interest rate.
yeah. But now, but yeah. So that's cool. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you and the fam moving out, looking at
Yeah,
homes.
man.
Like, what do you guys look for? Like, what is your must haves and fuck no, and looking
Uh,
for homes.
Ari and I have different lists.
Okay.
honestly. We're both looking for central air, preferably not radiator heat because dogs. Um,
Yeah.
we're looking for a basement, but that's not required. And we want an open layout kitchen dining situation. Uh, that's it, really. A yard
Yeah.
that I don't have to walk the fucking dogs anymore. That I could just open a fucking door and it's done. It's done. Because taking two dogs out every 2 hours is a fucking nightmare. I hate it. It's cool though. It's cool. There's no resentment towards my dogs at all. I
No,
promise.
I mean everyone who's listened to this has probably lived in an apartment complex and most likely has a pet. Um, if you haven't, it's a pain in the ass if you have a pet. I agree 100%. Especially like if you don't live on the bottom floor and you don't have a porch that you can just let them out at because you gotta hold them. I don't know. It's I could see it being a pain.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can see it.
And we're not on the bottom floor. We're on the second floor,
Yeah.
which is just like there's stairs, there's other people, there's points of contact,
Yeah.
there's a lot of points where chaos can happen, and it's
Hmm.
less than ideal. So we'd like a yard,
Well, okay. So you got a
preferably
yard.
with a fence to start, but
Yeah.
that's not required. I'll just put out the stake thing for when I go camping, and just hook them
Yeah.
up on that thing one at a time. I don't have a problem with that until we get the fence in. But there's got to
Now,
be somewhere they can poop.
okay, okay. Yard, got a yard. You want a big room? How many rooms you want?
We're looking for three, but
Right.
we're looking at a two-bedroom right now. Uh, we figure we can. There's a plan for the two-bedroom idea, um, but we're looking for a third bedroom. So baby,
Yeah. Well,
that's
see
the idea.
here's something. Here's some do. Here's a don't that I. This is my personal opinion. So the first house that my wife and I bought, we had a four-bedroom house, and it was actually three bedrooms, but they converted a loft into a bedroom. So
Yeah,
it was cool. It was four bedrooms. So like we were thinking big. We just it was me, her, and my daughter. Well, she was pregnant at the time, so we were thinking big. Like okay, we're gonna have one child, and we're gonna have another child, and we wanted a office, and then we wanted a spare bedroom. So we were thinking huge. So this, which
yeah.
is great. I mean, everyone has that mentality. You want a huge house. You kind of grew up in a huge. When you're a child growing up in your parents' house, you think it's huge because you're a
It
child,
feels
and you really
huge.
it feels bigger than it really is. When you become an
Yeah,
adult and you go there, you're like, wow. Um, but I actually noticed things like actually it was brought to my so I never really went upstairs even when I recorded podcasts with you. It was mostly downstairs on my laptop. I never really went upstairs just or to show my friends or just the collection that I had of like my
it was a
collections and stuff.
storage area more
Yeah, it
than a
was kind of
usage
yeah.
area.
I think so. When Devin Brooks and his wife moved down, they bought a house, and their house has five bedrooms, and it's bigger than mine. And after a couple months there, Devin made a comment to me. If you actually do listen to this, Devin, hopefully I don't butcher this comment. But even he said that like you mostly spend most of your time in the family room, the kitchen, and then the bedroom. Well, that's what it was because this him and his wife and like for $15,000. So he doesn't really have. They didn't really spend all those extra bedrooms. They're fun. They're cool to have.
But
But
what purpose do they serve?
exactly, and it made me
Why?
start. It made me start to think. So the house that we're in now is actually I think so. I lived in a 2,000 square foot house. This house is actually like 12 or 13,
Okay.
and that's kind of a big jump, but it's perfect. It's a good size because I still have a third bedroom, which I'm in right now. And if we do have a second child, it's converted. Bam, we can easily convert it. I would just have to lose my little office,
Exactly.
but yeah, I mean, so I would never tell you what to do, Alex, but I would always suggest thinking about like yeah, everybody it's your first home, you want to go big. But then again, it's like you want to show off your big dick to everyone. But
S-
realistically, you got you,
So we're
you'll
looking at a
you'll
house up here. The
Yeah.
2-bedroom plan.
Yeah.
We found this spot. It's $150,000 for a 2-bedroom half duplex.
Okay.
We're on one half the duplex. Decent yard, and basement.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 1,000, maybe 1,100 square feet at the top end, and we're looking at that one so we can hit that point where we're starting to outgrow it, and then rent it out to like a college student or somebody, and
Okay.
upcharge them to rent, because the mortgage for us monthly would be like $700, which
Mm-hmm.
is a sharp decrease from what we're paying for rent right now. So we could just charge the going rent level to
Mm-hmm.
crash this house, and reap all that extra income while we move on to a 3-bedroom when Aries out of school. She's at least a dental assistant, possibly a hygienist, making lots and lots of money, effectively doubling my income at the assistant level. And if she goes hygienist, then she's going to dwarf my income by a lot.
And that's
So-
when you become a stay-at-home podcaster. I love it. I think it's
Right.
great. You know?
So that like transition, we've got this second property with Aries VA home loan at that point.
Mhm.
That's the forever home, because we are generating all this extra income from like 3 different directions all at the same time, and we've got fewer bills because our debts are paid off, and then we've got the passive income stream of the $150,000 place by itself. So it just like this, she spit this to me trying to convince me, and I'm like, that's where I was at from Jump Street. That I like that plan. I like passive income. Let's do that. It took a while. It took us a while to get to that position, but that's
Yeah.
what we're looking for, which is nice.
It's do you I had a question for you. I haven't really got a chance to ask a lot of my friends, because a lot of my friends they do own their own spot. But I'm pretty close with you, so I wanted to ask you, do you think it's kind of like, do you there was a point where when I bought my first house, I was at this point in my life where I wanted to post it all over the internet and let people know that I bought this house, because I came from I had nothing, and not that I didn't
Yeah.
come from nothing, but if people knew my past, I just had nothing, and then I wanted to show them like, bam, look, mine's bigger than yours, kind of thing, and it was like an
See,
ego
I don't need
boost.
that part.
See,
I just need
like,
look at what I did.
yeah, see, that was the thing, like, when like now, since I'm a little bit older, because I was like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So now, I really never posted anything about moving into this house. Not even told anybody. Maybe a couple people you knew, a couple other people knew that. I
Well, you
moved into a
mentioned it
house.
on the podcast.
Yeah, on the podcast. Yeah, but I never really went like really big, like I did last time, and like put it all over the social media and stuff like that. And I think it's because, I don't know, because I'm older now, or it's just more one of those things where, you know, I've slowly I do, at this point everyone has rented, or everyone has done something. So my question to you was, well, you kind of answered it already. Like, do you feel like this is your first home? Are you going to broadcast this and be like, bam, look at how big my dick is?
No, it's I
Yeah.
accomplished something that I'm super proud of, that I earnestly never thought that I was going to accomplish.
Yeah.
There for a while, that was
Mhm.
like my predominant idea was, I don't think I'm gonna own. It doesn't make sense for me to own until I have a family, and now I've got a family, so we're looking to own.
Okay.
So I'm proud of this thing that I'm doing, so I'm gonna like, hey, sharing my happiness. I'm really happy right now, and I want to share that with other people. Hopefully, it makes them happy too. Like, and that's it.
Well, I'm excited for you to have a house. I mean, owning a home it's fun. Remember in the beginning of this podcast, you said like the process it's supposed to be fun. You watch all these shows on TV
Wow,
about looking
no, it's
for
the most
homes.
bureaucratic thing I can think of.
It's so I did not have fun looking for this house that I'm in right now, and I did not. I had a really rough time. Now, even in Charlotte, I didn't really pick that house. That was like, so the house in Charlotte was in my wife's name because my credit was messed up when I was a kid, like everybody else in Joppatown.
Yeah,
You name one person in Joppatown,
that
you let me know. Everybody's credit at least had something.
yeah.
Um, but anyway, yeah. So it was in her name, and like I felt good about it. I didn't really like the house. It grew on me because it became a home. But this home, the process was horrible. I remember telling you on the podcast and off the podcast about just all the homes that fell through and the people we
Mhm.
battled for different homes. It was just a pain in the butt. But um, I will say this: I never really liked Myrtle Beach. I live in Myrtle Beach for my daughter, but I really say this home now that all my stuff is in here makes me feel good. And I think when you move into your home, I think it's called nesting.
Yeah,
Like basically, you're just you
it's mine now.
yeah, like you feel
Yeah.
that way right now about your apartment. Looking for the home might suck, and then when you get there, it's going to be a little weird. The road that you always travel down for work, you're not going to be traveling down that road anymore, and it's just kind of like things like that when you do go to work, by the way. Um,
Because I work from home.
but yeah, so I don't know. It's exciting, and then it's really exciting to I don't like scream, play music really fucking loud, do what you want because it's your
Oh
fucking
yeah.
property.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Just
these are things that.
nudity all the
Oh
time.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's exciting. So
If you're
that's
not
exciting.
naked in your own house, what are you doing? You're wasting that house. You should be
For lit.
naked to your heart's content.
Uh-huh. I would say for listeners out there that are listening that have never bought a house before or haven't got a chance to experience this, um, it's one of those things where you don't necessarily have to experience it to understand it, but it's also one of those things where I think everyone should try to experience, even if it's not owning a house, owning land, owning anything that's yours, that's that big of a commitment is a huge thing. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
definitely
because you
do
got
it.
skin in the game at that point. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm a landowner, goddammit. This is mine. I control it. Y'all are trespassing. Get the fuck up off my shit.
Do do
Ah,
you
I can't wait.
do you okay, so the process of getting a house. So I think you told me over the phone that you actually put an offer in on a house, but then they came back and it was just too much and you backed away. Do you think that system is good or do you think that's like I mean, so
Believe me. So I'm saying it's awfully bureaucratic. Uh,
okay.
I don't mean that. This isn't administrators. This is lawyers and contracts. Um,
Yeah.
so it's a painstaking process, but this process exists this way for a reason. I understand how contracts evolved over time.
Mhm.
Bureaucracy is paper pushes, pushing around paperwork. Oh, you didn't check this box. Application denied. Well, give me the paper back. I'll just check the box. Nope, denied. You got to start again. That kind of shit. Fuck that. This is, uh, yeah. So you might have lead in your walls, and you're waiving any indemnity. So deal with that. Like that kind of contract. And it makes a lot more sense. It's just awful to slog through.
Well, the so here's the things I hate about buying a home that they never tell you. They never tell you this shit. So you think buying a home is like buying a car. You go up, you say I want this car. They run your credit and they're like,
No.
okay, well we can do this for you. You have to get a loan through your bank and such and such things like that. So okay, so you go up, you find it. You got to get pre-approved for the amount of money. Then you find a house. Then after that, the fun starts. You put an offer in on the house. So
Oh yeah.
here's the thing. I think it's funny. So you think anytime there's a price of a house, no one ever like no one. I sold a house too. So when I was selling a house, it was much easier than it was buying a house, because when you're selling a house, you're like, okay, I want this. You have all the control, but
Yeah,
you have to pay their realtor, your realtor, still a lawyer fee and things like that. But you have all the control. When you're buying a house, you have no control whatsoever. You're in the leisure of that person, so you can say,
that
I want this.
not quite, not quite. It's a seller's market right now. That's
Mhm.
why the sellers have the control. If this were a buyer's market and there were fewer buyers out there and like hundreds of sellers per buyer,
Yeah.
it wouldn't feel like that. It would feel very differently where the buyers are like, no, you can lower that further. A little
Okay.
further. A little further. Now we're talking. I'll spend that. Thank you. Like, and those kind of market swings do happen. It hasn't happened for a while. I think pre 2008 was the last time we had a good buyer's market. But then the
Well,
bubble popped and we were all fucked.
I'll tell you this right now. Like, the process I went through this house was crazy. So the
I
lender had
believe
to
that.
run the lender had to run all my credit and stuff like that. Fine, I had no bill, and you think so. When I sold my other house, I got a good chunk of money, and I paid off all my debt, all my bills. So you think that, okay, well, when they run your credit and stuff, and or when they try to process a new loan, they'll be like, wow, he owes nothing, so this should move smoothly. Wrong. If you actually have bills or stuff against you, like a car payment and things like that, it actually moves faster,
Yes, because
because
there's
you
a
pay,
paper trail of evidence.
because there's a paper trail. Exactly. So
Yeah.
because I didn't have a paper trail, they were like, what the fuck were you doing, and
Like
how
you
is
just
everything
cut
paid
off
off?
your paper tail. Exactly.
Yeah, so it's just so weird because
There's no
everybody.
receipt you can do with the house, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Here's the receipt.
it's just a little crazy to me because everybody has a trail now. Everybody has a car,
Mhm.
well, either a car payment, a credit card, a cell phone bill you didn't pay back in 2005. I mean, there's
It's gonna
something
come up.
there, and it's going to come up. I had nothing, and it actually hurt me in the long run. And it's crazy to think that, but it did. And then after that, then the communication between you and the lender got to be good. Then the communication between you and the lawyer, because you need a lawyer to process the deed and all that good stuff. And if they don't like your stuff, they're going to ask for blood samples, urine samples. I mean, I went through. It was pretty. It was pretty. There's some stuff you don't really. I mean, you're about to experience it all, so
Yeah. Yeah.
you have fun
A
with
lot of
that.
hoops. A
See,
lot of hoops.
yours might be a little bit better because of the VA loan, or because you had the paper trail through the army. Um,
Yeah, they
so
see vet and they're like, this is a government backed loan.
yeah.
Okay,
Well, they
we're
want to
good
make
with
sure they
that.
get their money. They want to make
Yeah,
sure they get their money. So
100%. And I get that. They want to get their money. That's the point of this contract here. Let's do this.
hmm
But
oh, dude,
effectively the government co-signing and saying he's good for it. Like
yeah.
smooths so much out.
I just it's just funny to me. I mean, the process. It's just they don't really tell you things like that. And then and oh, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that you got to do like you got to get it inspected, because if it's not inspected, the bank won't give you the loan. It needs to be inspected. You need an appraisal. Now, I will tell you this: whatever you do, if you get an appraisal, don't ever tell the person, your lender, that the what the appraisal amount is. I'm just
Because they're
warning
gonna
you.
they're gonna poo poo push. So with the VA loan, the lender has to find out.
Okay.
That's one of the stopgap points. It's
Oh,
the
okay.
it adjusts to the appraised value, or uh, or they keep it at the higher price and say we're not changing it. We get the walkout point, like guaranteed,
hmm
no money lost. Um, we also get a bonus inspection. The VA specifically has to inspect it, and it's just that'll be fun. That'll be super fun.
Okay.
It was
That looks
super
good.
fun for
That,
David's house.
what did he have to go through? Anything?
He was actually $200 of repairs over the mark, so he just footed the bill. He was like, "I've got $200. That's here,
Okay.
fix it."
So, one thing I didn't tell you about this house, the when I was purchasing it, um, they were so I was in a bidding war with four people, and
Oof.
they were like everyone's best offer by Saturday. So we said we would give you full off. We gave them we just gave them the full asking amount, and then we told them not to cover any costs. We would cover closing, and they picked us. But there was one stipulation. They were like, "Well, you got to take the house fast and kind of as is." And I was like, "Okay, well,
As is.
yeah." I was just, we walked through the house. I was
Asterisk.
like, "Yeah, asterisk." Well, the thing is, that's what she told my realtor. But then when the contract came over, they said nothing about as is. So when so with that said, when we started doing the inspection went good. Everything's good. There's nothing really major. There was actually one thing wrong. We just found out, but I have a home warranty, which is amazing, by the
Good to
way.
go. Good to go.
Um, so the air conditioning unit's old. This house is 15 years old, so the air conditioning unit's old. But the we have a shower insert, and when the inspector ran the shower, everything was fine. It's still fine when you run but the one thing the inspector did not do is step into the shower, because when you step into the shower on the floor, when you're walking, you can hear water, just like you can hear it. So it's in between the flooring and the actual like insert. So we're like, what the fuck?
Ooh.
But it's okay. I have a home warranty. So I pay like $75 and they'll come out and fix the whole thing. Well, they'll fix at least 75 or more percent of it, and then they'll tell me what the rest is. And I mean, it's better than paying, you know, $1,500 for a plumber to come out and install a new one.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh yeah. Because that would be just the worst.
but no, I think, yeah, home warranty. That
Yeah.
was a good move.
We're looking for a home warranty ourselves. And if one won't be provided by the seller, we're gonna buy one because
Okay.
that's insurance without it being a scam. And I want in on that action. They provide
Oh,
the service that insurance is supposed to earnestly.
let me
I want in.
let me I'm going to tell you this quick story. So about when you're picking a house, one of the things that was told to me is drive through the neighborhood. If you see things like a whole bunch of random junkyard cars sitting in the neighborhood in one house, maybe that's not the neighborhood for you. So this neighborhood seemed really great. It's really nice, and I say seem because let me tell you this story. So
Uh
it's not
oh.
it's a non HOA neighborhood, so that's good. That means I can put up any fence I want. I don't have to really worry about people coming over and bothering the shit
There's
out of me.
there's no dues. You don't have to mow your
Yeah,
lawn as
yeah,
much.
yeah. The only thing is there's no like community pool and things like that.
Eh,
And you have to find outside companies to do your trash and things like that. Um, so the very first day,
consumer choice. Oh God.
so it was not last Saturday, but the Saturday before we started moving stuff in. So once we moved all the furniture in on that Saturday, the very next day was Sunday. I had off. We were talking to our neighbor, guy next door, really nice guy, older gentleman. He says hi, tells me about himself. He's from Massachusetts. Second thing he says to me is, I used to go to school with Doug Flutie, who's a famous football player. So I always thought that was okay. I mean, I guess if you really did, you want to tell
That's
everyone that. Anyway,
I mean, that's your biggest claim to fame, though. Like
yeah,
that's the second thing out of your mouth.
yeah. So I just like whatever. But he says, "Hey, I'm starting up my riding lawnmower for the first time this season. I don't want to turn it off for a while. So you mind if I cut your grass too?" And I'm like, "Dude, that's awesome." So
Love
not
you.
only did he cut his grass, he just rode over in like 4 seconds to cut my grass. So because we don't have a fence yet. So I was like, "This is awesome." I was going to get him something, but he volunteered. I was like, "Okay, that's fine." But he's nice, and he's talked to my in-laws a couple times when they were here, and he's asked about my dog Bea because it was fun. But then we had that issue with I had a neighbor across the street. One morning he knocks on the door at 7 o'clock in the morning. He's just complaining because my in-laws' car has been parked in front of his house for like, it's just, he says it's his property, but clearly it's the road. And if I need to pull up the stipulations about where I cannot park, I will. But he just kind of gave me an attitude. He didn't introduce himself. He didn't tell me his name. He just said the first thing he said to me was, "You need to get your stuff. You need to get your car off my property." And oh man, I almost lost my shit. I told him, like he was just so rude to me. I do feel bad though because he was leaning in really close to me, and he was like, "What? What?" Like, I was like, "Is this old man about to spar? You want to go? You want to fucking go?" But no, he just couldn't hear me. So
Whoops.
Whoopsie. But no. But anyway, you know, in the end, I did not move the vehicle. But my in-laws did leave. And I always try to think of now as an adult. I try to stay out of conflict as much as possible. I do have a family, and I don't want to die because everyone in the South is packing.
Yeah.
But I will say, there used to be two college kids that lived in this house, and they rented out a spare room. Every semester was a new kid, so they probably had get-togethers, parties, whatever, and what the not. So I can see why he might be a little upset. So I do understand that, but there's a better way of doing it, man. You need to come up to me. You need to say, "Hey, my name is so and so. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the neighborhood."
Can we
Hey,
talk about your in-laws' car?
yeah,
Like
like
it's,
I
it's
would.
invading my parking space.
Yeah,
Can
well,
we
it's
talk about
not.
that?
He
But
has he has a he has a two-car garage, a driveway, and then all right. So one of the rules, it's an unwritten rule about the mailbox. You should not park. I think 5 feet on the right side of the mailbox and the left side of the mailbox if it's facing the road, because the mail lady or the woman or the man can't go by and deliver the mail.
yeah,
So, it's an unspoken rule. So I understand that. But this was on the other side of this damn driveway. I don't know. I was so upset, but it's all good now. I haven't talked to him. I don't park my car there because I have, and my in-laws were obviously there for a little bit, but it just shows you because, and I don't know if you guys remember in Charlotte, I talked about it in the early podcast for the true listeners out there. In Charlotte, when I first moved there, I had a problem with my neighbor. He was an older gentleman. We were a young couple. I lived in an HOA, and they kept sending me letters with pictures of my grass. And it's clear, it says like, "Oh, the grass, if it's over 2 inches, you need to cut it by this day, or we're going to cut it for you and charge you." And he called the HOA on me about my grass. He called the HOA on me about my trash can being in front of my garage because it needs to be on the side. It looks trashy if it's on the front of your garage. Like, I'm sitting there like, why is he picking on me? What did I do? Like,
oh
I
man.
mean, so yeah, I just wanted to vent a little bit about that, and I'll definitely say, check out your neighborhood and see what and who's around you. And even when you move into a nice neighborhood, there's always that one person that doesn't come over and say, here's a pie." They come over and just scream at you for no damn reason.
Every neighborhood's gonna have one,
I
and
know.
the sooner they introduce themselves, the sooner you know who it is, the sooner you can start
Mhm.
avoiding them.
Yeah, that's nuts, but crazy. Homeowner, be a homeowner, buy stuff.
Do it.
Drop.
Do it as soon as possible. Get some skin in the game.